what's up Xbox and PC fans? It is Josh bringing you guys some news today about the RX series from AMD. These GPUs are making a massive impact for AMD already, even before their launch. AMD's stock has gone up in the last week, has actually had the highest climb since the stock was listed. So this is the biggest climb AMD has seen in the history of the company as far as being on the stock market is concerned. And I told some people to buy AMD stock a few weeks ago because I kind of saw this coming, and they did not buy it, and kicking themselves in the ass right now because it's gone up so much. But if I were a betting man, I'd say this trend will continue. These chips have yet to even hit the market, but rumors circulating that these things are just going to be freaking nasty. Not even for the money, but just overall. And also, not only just really awesome and super low priced, but they're going to be available. NVIDIA basically did a paper launch for the GTX 1070 and 1080, and those cards are still super hard to find. You have GTX 1080s going for $900, $1,000, with an MSRP of $599, and you've got 1070s going for $750, $800 for a GTX 1070 that's supposed to cost $379. It's ridiculous because they're just so hard to find. They're being price hiked. And yeah, AMD apparently has got an actual launch coming up here for the RX series of GPUs, where you can actually walk into a retailer or order online. They have ample stock apparently at launch for all of these cards, and we'll see about that, of course. But apparently online retailers are already getting their stock in order, and they'll be ready for launch on June 29th for the RX 470, 480, and 460. Also, there has been a little bit of varied speculation about the price of the high-end 8GB RX 480, and it has been confirmed once again. It's going to be $229 for the standard edition from AMD with no overclock, at least factory overclock. $229 for the 8GB variant of the RX 480 from AMD. The add-in board partners will have their own reference boards, but there's not going to be any kind of alterations made to the boards at launch. They're just going to have reference boards at launch, even from the add-in board partners. But those custom solutions obviously will appear soon after launch. But it looks like just the reference boards, the add-in board partners are going to send those out of the factory with their own factory overclocks. And apparently AMD has made it really easy to overclock these GPUs. They've actually come out with a tool specific for the RX 480 that allows you to tweak voltages and speed of the memory, speed of the GPU, etc. So not only do they have, obviously third-party support from MSI Afterburner and Tricks, etc., stuff like that you can use on any GPU essentially, but they will have their own tool to overclock and get some extra juice out of those. And speaking of getting some extra juice out of these things, it's looking like they're able to hit 1600 megahertz, 1.6 gigahertz, which gives this card, by my calculations, let's see here, 7.4, almost 7.4 teraflops of compute power. Which is just obscene for a card that you can pick up for $199 in a 4GB variant. That's stupid. So I don't know, what NVIDIA are going to do, honestly. I had a feeling when they came out with the 1070 and 1080, the prices at least, obviously those have been inflated by the market, but when NVIDIA announced the prices for the 1070 and the 1080, I was surprised by how low they were, because it's normally not like NVIDIA to come out with a cheap, at least cost-wise, GPU. Normally if NVIDIA has any kind of an advantage in terms of performance, they just hike up the prices of their cards themselves. But when I saw $379 for the 1070, $450 for the Founders Edition, and $599 for the 1080, with a $100 premium on the Founders Edition there as well, I really thought, hey, they must know something is up with AMD, and it looks like the cat is out of the bag. The stock market has seen it, and the stocks are going through the roof. Actually, there's so much information now leaked online about the performance of these cards and their ability to get massive overclocks with just the reference board design, that they're talking about lifting the embargo for this as early as June 24th, so a couple of days. It was initially set obviously for the 29th for the launch of these cards, to have people kind of kept under wraps in terms of being able to release. A lot of this information was under NDA, but again, that may be lifted early because there's just so much information out there. I'm going to go ahead and provide these links in the description, guys. You can check these things out yourself, but you'll be able to see what I'm seeing, and that is that these cards should be absolute monsters. I have discussed, obviously quite a bit here, the flagship model, the RX 480, but if that's anything to go by, we can definitely assume that the other cards will overclock as effectively, which is going to provide just extreme value and performance for the money. So I'm looking forward to this. One other thing to note is that the power consumption on the RX 480, the largest of these GPUs, the full Polaris 10 XT, is going to use only like 100 watts of power at complete load. I mean, it uses like 10 watts of power at idle. This card is so power efficient, it's ridiculous, and it's the largest of the three. So, it's power rated for 150 maximum power draw, and the RX 470 is rated for 110 watts maximum power draw. The RX 460 rated for 75 watts maximum power draw. And it's actually, the proof's in the pudding, because the RX 480 only comes with one 6-pin power connector, which if you give it 75 watts from that, 75 watts from the rail, it literally is a maximum of 150 that it can actually draw from the system at any given time. So it's staying well beneath that as far as these rumors are concerned. It's looking like it's only going to draw 100 watts of power at load. So I can't imagine the RX 470 using more than 75-80 watts at load, and the RX 460 maybe using 35-40 watts at load. Which, I gotta tell you, man, my GPUs probably drawn more than that while the computer's turned off. So those are pretty daggone good numbers. But anyway, guys, I'm really looking forward to these chips and these GPUs. I want to get some of these in my hands and get some testing done on these. And the prices, honestly, are low enough where I could probably run out and get one of these cards and keep my current 980 Ti. Sorry guys, again. But yeah, I may do that. I may run out and get the RX 460 for $100 and just give it some testing. If I can grab a 470 for $150, I'd love to get a 480, but for $230 for the 8GB variant, that may be a little bit out of reach for me. But yeah, guys, if I can get a hold of these cards, I will. If you guys do pick these cards up, let me know how they perform. What are you guys getting in terms of overclocks? What are you guys getting in terms of power draw and heat? The heat for these cards, I'm sorry to do this in the backwards ass order, was also shown, and the heat for the RX 480 at load under quote-unquote regular circumstances in a case was 72 degrees. I mean, that's stock speeds, but still, that is a very cool chip, considering it's in a reference design PCB, reference design cooler. Can't imagine that thing would get very hot even with an overclock. But yeah, at 1.6 gigahertz, this card is getting, like I say, about 7.4 teraflops of computing power for $199. So stay tuned, guys. This should be an absolute stone cold killer when it comes out. Hope you guys are excited about this stuff. I'm looking forward to it. I don't think Nvidia is as much as we are, but looking forward to seeing these things in the supply chain soon. Nvidia, get on the ball with production and get those prices lowered. We're going to have a sweet little competition here in the middle of the market coming in about 6, 7, 8 days. I'm looking forward to it, guys. Hope you are too. I'll see you in the next one. See ya.